Across the United States, schools strive to provide access to education for everyone, including people with mobility issues, cognitive disabilities, hearing or vision limitations, and other special needs. The legal requirements of the Americans with Disabilities Act guide the design process. But we should remember that the regulations aren't the only reason to design with mobility in mind. This applies to everyone in the building, not just those with special needs. Exceeding minimum standards of universal access can be practical and productive. For example, if a school serves students with significant mobility challenges, they should be located on the first floor of the building for easier emergency sheltering or evacuation, as well as day-to-day access. Improvements in educational programming and the effects of societal change mean that the diversity of our disabled and special needs populations continue to grow. For example, with modern medical care and advancements in assistive technology, students are provided opportunities to access the classroom and be involved in instruction in unique ways. Also be sure to consider access for disabled parents and visitors. Today's schools can and should be designed for maximum accessibility by students, staff, and visitors who face challenges including, but not limited to, decreased mobility, hearing or vision limitations, language barriers, and a variety of other disabilities and special needs. For example, student restrooms with doorless entry designs are far easier for students with mobility challenges to use, and they also reduce problems with bullying, tobacco, illicit drug use, and assaults because supervision is improved. Fortunately, most of these issues can be addressed with universal design concepts during the design phase. From a safety standpoint, emergency egress and sheltering are among the measures most likely to prevent needless mass casualty losses. This applies to everyone in the building, not just those with special needs. Building design should allow a safe and rapid response to situations like earthquakes, tsunamis, tornadoes, and other severe weather, fires, acts of violence, and hazardous materials incidents. These risks vary by geographic location, but every school has some level of risk. Because the movement of a large group requires coordination and participation, the ease of movement for those with special needs can affect everyone's safety. Stairways, doorways, hallways, walkways, locking systems, and other physical features should be designed with universal access in mind. And we need to be equally concerned with how to re-enter a school if it becomes dangerous to remain outside. For example, breaks or gaps in sidewalks can significantly add to the time it takes for a student in a wheelchair to move to shelter. This in turn can slow down the sheltering of other students. Input from area law enforcement, fire service, and emergency management personnel in the design process can be invaluable. We also need to think about how we use emergency communication systems. Improvements in this area can benefit all occupants, and decisions relating to visual and audible alarm systems can affect schools for decades. For example, visual emergency signage makes it easier for all occupants to understand a warning in a loud, chaotic environment. It's important to consider both internal as well as external warning systems. As with internal communications and warning systems, there should be a means to properly notify disabled students that are hearing or visually impaired while they are outdoors. Classrooms for special needs students should be designed for students they will serve. For example, another consideration for emergency warning can be that some students react very strongly to extremely loud noise. Placing an alarm enunciator within such a classroom can create significant problems. Proper outdoor notification methods can be essential to saving lives during tornadoes, hazardous materials incidents, acts of violence, or other situations where danger exists outside the school. In addition to preparing to respond to incidents, preventing safety problems is critical. Choosing universal design concepts at the early stages of the design process is not only a legal obligation, it is a way to build safer, more respectful, and more effective schools for everyone. Thank you for your time and interest in this important and timely topic.